Hi, I'm going to be talking about overthinking and negative thoughts. Overthinking is essentially a phenomenon, a state of mind, a state of being which comes about when you have irrational demands. To which one may ask, what is an irrational demand? Quite simply put, an irrational demand is when you're thinking people or the world should behave in a particular manner with you. Harsh reality, it's not always going to happen, right? So when you find yourself using words like should, must, has to, the company has to do this for me, my girlfriend, boyfriend should behave this way, my family should do that, must do that, they have to do that. That's not essentially, that might be the way you think. It's not going to be the way people behave, right? People behave based on their own motives. People behave based on their own factors which drive them, their own, be it an external motivator, internal motivator. People are going to behave in mannerisms which are best for them, quite simply, quite logically. It would be foolish for us to assume that others are going to behave in a manner which is not the best for them. So what happens is that when you are unable to deal with something like this, and this is not just directed towards others, it can be directed towards the self as well. I should have done that. I must be like this. I must be a better father. I should be earning more. So these demands are not just external. They're not just at other people and at the world. They happen towards the self as well. And what this leaves a person with is when that demand is not fulfilled, it leaves them in a place where they're a little rattled and they're not able to wrap their head around it, because in their head they've created a false belief system. The belief is that I should be like this, I must be like this, he or she must be like that. And that rule is so fixed and firm in your head that you are not able to process, deal with, and move on with the event which has happened, right? So overthinking stems from when you yourself or other people have behaved in a manner not that was unexpected, but which goes against a direct opposition to your belief system, to your belief structure. And if you think that's going to change in a day, if it were that easy, the world would be a much easier place, right? Try challenging someone's belief system, try going up to, for example, a feminist and challenging everything the feminist movement stands for. Try walking up to a Catholic and challenging the beliefs of Christianity. You are, in one way of speaking, a bundle of belief systems, right? You're more than a name, you're more than a nationality, you're more than a culture, you're more than a face, a body, as a being capable of thought and emotion and actions. Your thoughts and emotions and actions are usually coherent with some underlying worldview, some underlying belief structure. When that belief structure or that system is challenged, you get a whole host of reactions. You get negativity, you get defense mechanisms, you get anger, you get violence, because you've built your world on particular bricks and blocks of ideas and beliefs. And to attack that very structure is to attack everything you've built your world on. It's not a nice place to be. It's a very diabolical place to be. It's a very harsh and unsafe place to be, right? To which one would ask, okay, I have all these issues, well, what can I do about it? There is no quick fix, right? You can't change a belief system in a day. You can't change your entire worldview in a day. What you can do is you can break the rut, right? There's a rut, there's a negative cycle. Your negative thought leads to negative emotions. Negative thoughts and negative emotions lead to negative behaviors. This leads to other people viewing you negatively, which leads to more negative thoughts. And the earlier you break out of this, right, that's your saving grace. The earlier you choose to break out of this vicious cycle, this negative cycle, the better for you, because the longer you're there and the deeper you're there, the worse it gets for you. That's just how it is. You can't do detrimental things to yourself. You can't eat unhealthy foodstuffs your entire life and then hope that when you're 70 or 80 you're going to be healthy. It doesn't work that way. For your psychological health, you have to follow healthy psychological practices, which includes healthy thoughts. Now, thoughts have energy, right? They affect how you perceive things. You have negative thoughts and then something happens to you at the workplace, some event, someone says something, you're more likely to view it negatively. You're more likely to react negatively. Negative thoughts leads to a negative mood. Break the cycle. To which one would turn around and say, okay guys, how do I break the cycle? The first and foremost thing you can do is become aware of the negative thought. And I'm not saying attack the negative thought. Become aware of it, right? You're thinking something negative, you're stuck in one of your irrational demands, and the next thing you know, you spend 15 minutes, you spend an hour, you're doing other daily activities, you're working, you're cooking, you're cleaning, and the negative thoughts are going on and on. Now, the moment you become aware, the moment you become conscious of the fact that, okay, this is what's going through in my mind, that's the first step, becoming aware. When you do become aware of it, try and go to a happy place. Everyone has a happy place. Everyone has a certain thought, a certain memory, certain activities, hobbies, in which it's virtually impossible for you to be negative. You know, for some people it might be watching a movie, watching a rom-com. For others it might be playing tennis. For someone else it might be talking to a friend. It doesn't matter what your happy place is. All that matters is that first you become aware, second you have a happy place. It can even be a song, you know. I have a song, it's Somewhere Over the Rainbow. I know it's very cliche, but that's my happy place. I can listen to it even when I'm stuck in overthinking, when I'm stuck in negative thoughts. And I can't feel negative when I'm listening to that song. I just can't. So you need to identify your happy place and you need to go there. You need to be easy on yourself, because any elegant, change requires time. You know, you can't think that, oh, I'm overthinking, I'm going to stop overthinking, I'm going to learn to think this way. No. It takes time. It takes challenging your belief structures. That takes effort, it takes strength, it takes courage. Many people want to know the shortcut to getting rich, right? No one knows of a sure shortcut to getting rich. Everyone knows sure shot. Working hard will get you there, but for some reason people don't want to put in the hard work. It's the same with your psychological health. If you're not willing to take the time and put in the hard work, the belief structures are not going to change. You have to grapple with them, you have to question them. You have to say, okay, he did that, she said that, my company did this to me, my father said that to me, my girlfriend did this to me. Then you have to be okay. So what? So what? What am I going to do? Am I going to mull over it? By overthinking, ask yourself, is it helping you? Sure, sometimes you can't ignore things, you have to think about it, you have to process it. But there's an optimal point of processing something beyond which it just becomes rumination. It becomes detrimental. Know the difference between processing through something which has offended you, hurt you, or caused you psychological harm, and know the difference between rumination. Rumination is when the overthinking leads to you can't function smoothly. Whatever you're doing, your thoughts go back there. And what you want to do is engage yourself in activities which require attention. My favorite activity, of course not everyone can do it, but is skateboarding. If you try skateboarding and your mind is somewhere else, you'll get injured so badly. It's not funny. When you're skateboarding, you have to be completely present in that activity at that given point of time, focusing on the here and now. And it has to be something which requires your attention. Initially when you learn driving, initially when you learn riding a bike, it requires attention. You can't think about other things. Once you've mastered it, it's very easy to multitask. You can drive while talking to people, you can think about different things, and you can even overthink. It's important to do new things which take your attention. It's like a muscle in the gym. If you're a guy that goes to the gym and all you do is pump your biceps and you don't work out the rest of your body, you will actually look ridiculous. Overall health requires working all your muscles out in all the ways which are healthy for it. Likewise, your brain can't just flex in one direction of the overthinking thought. You have to use your cognitive resources fairly, spread them out, use them well, use them in things which actually engage them. And that's a bit on overthinking, but that's not the sum and substance of it. There's also the matter of negative thoughts, and negative thoughts do often go hand in hand with overthinking. The first thing which you can do is attack the stigma of a negative thought, right? You cannot be positive all the time. You can't be happy all the time. And pop culture, social media, it glorifies happiness and it frowns upon pain, hurt, negative events, negative emotions. There are 6 basic human emotions, irrespective of which culture, irrespective of whether you receive any societal conditioning or not. There are 6 basic human emotions found across the world. Happiness is one. There's fear, there's anger, there's sadness, there's disgust, there's surprise. You can't take one of these 6 and chase it down while ignoring all the others. No. There's this concept in medicine, in biology, of homeostasis, right? Which is an optimal level of physical functioning when everything's in balance. It's not just a biological concept, it's psychological as well. If you observe yourself, you cannot be positive all the time. You will eventually slip down to some negative thoughts. And even if you're a person who has primarily negative thoughts, you will have a lot of positive thoughts coming in at intervals as well. Of course, they might be overweighed by the negative thoughts, but first things first is having negative thoughts isn't wrong. It's natural. You need them. They keep you grounded. The optimist oftentimes has wings which take him into an unrealistic world. You need those negative thoughts to ground you, to make you aware of real world threats, to make you wonder whether you're doing a good job, whether you're doing the right job in the right manner, whether you're being a good person, whether you're doing things as they should be. It's a simple example. If you don't fear a dog that's barking at you, you're not gonna run. If you don't run from that dog, it's gonna bite you, right? In this case, having the negative emotion of fear towards a dog is optimal because it keeps you safe. That happens with negative thoughts as well. That being said, negative thoughts are negative and it's not a good place to be. So you shouldn't dwell there, right? What can you do to get rid of negative thoughts? One particular practice I find effective is thought stopping. When you find yourself having negative thoughts, and you become aware of it, and it's cyclical, you're not able to stop it, what you can do is scream stop. If you can't scream it, say it, but say it firmly, say it with authority. Command your brain, command your mind, rope it in, reel it in, gain control of it. Sometimes you can't say it out loud. It's handy to have a recording of you telling yourself stop. And you say it firmly, you say it with conviction, it works, People might say, oh, if it was so easy to just say stop and the thought stops. No, there's documented evidence. Telling your brain, becoming conscious of your thought and telling it what to do works. And if you scream stop, you cannot have a negative thought happening in parallel when you're saying that to yourself, right? If you try to stop that thought, there's a void created because your mind needs something else to feed on, right? Keep another positive thought close, at bay. It's like a train tracks, you gotta be ready to switch tracks. You can't just derail the train completely. You can't just say, okay, this is where the road ends, now you're off the rails. No. While practicing thought stopping, it's essential to keep another positive thought close by, nearby, to reel you in and to put you onto a positive track. Furthermore, negative thoughts lead to a number of psychological states like depression, not necessarily, but like depression. And one thing I found, which literature also supports is that it is not possible to be involved in a high amount of physical movement and to be having negative thoughts at the same time. It doesn't have to be elaborate exercises. Dance, move your body, walk, run, do things which engage you physically. Negative thoughts stem from a sedentary lifestyle, a motionless lifestyle, an empty mind, having nothing to feed on, right? If you look at soldiers, soldiers have seen some of the toughest living conditions, and they've seen the worst of what mankind can do to mankind. It's very, very rare that you'll find a soldier stuck in a rut of negative thoughts. Why? I mean, they have post-traumatic stress disorder. They go through a number of things which traumatize them, but they don't have negative thoughts. They don't have depression. That's because they're constantly physically engaged, right? There are a number of reasons why this holds true, right from evolution. Those lead to technical concepts, but evolutionarily speaking as well, we are creatures which have a high amount of a physical quotient in our lives. The moment you take that physicality out of it, you take the movement out of it, what's not moving stagnates and dies, it withers, it decays. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to your thought process. So yeah, to summarize, I would say to deal with negative thoughts and to deal with overthinking, become conscious of your impositions on the world and how it should behave. Start challenging your belief structure, start putting in the work, start questioning your thoughts, start engaging yourself in things which require your attention, things which are meaningful, things which help you grow. Take away the stigma of negative thoughts. If you're in negative thoughts, don't think, oh my God, I'm thinking negatively again, or I have a problem of negative thoughts, or diagnose yourself with anxiety. No, there's no need for that. Become comfortable with having negative thoughts, knowing that they do serve a positive outcome. Go easy on yourself. Human beings are much simpler than we often take them to be. Negative thoughts, overthinking are problems which can be dealt with. They require time, they require dedication, they require discipline, but they can be dealt with, they can be overcome, and I wish you all the very best in overcoming whatever negative thoughts or overthinking that may be plaguing you. Take care.